Hey, this is Life Tech and Sundry. Join Alan, Marcos, and Josue, the hosts of LTS. Follow us at LT Sundry on Twitter, LTS.pod on Instagram, Life Tech and Sundry on YouTube, and all your favorite podcast distribution services. Stay frosty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the LTS podcast, the first of 2024. Thank you for joining us. Today, I have Alan with me. Alan, say hi to the people.
What's going on, everyone? Back. Thank you so much, Marcos and everyone. And Happy New Year for everyone that I haven't said hello to yet.
Just in the future, hello. And of course, Mr. J wasn't able to join us, so you won't be forgotten, Mr. J. He'll be in our hearts. And now, as a special guest, the first of 2024 is Jake. Say hi to the people, Jake.
What's going on, everybody? I am so happy to be the first special guest of 2024. Happy New Year, everybody. I am super excited to be on a podcast. This is my first podcast I am ever on. And I'm really looking forward to this.
And let's hope it's not the last, Jake? Let's hope many more to come.
Many more to come.
And Alan, how have you been?
Thankfully, everything's been going well. And a lot of work, a lot of cold, a bit of snow, but everything's been all right. How about you, Marcos?
Over here with a cup of joe, some tea, some hot chocolate, some pancakes earlier today in the morning.
Nice.
But just rolling, continuing forward. And of course, Jake, how was your weekend up until now? As of this recording, dear listeners, peeking into 2024's veil, we record in the weekend, specifically Saturday nights. So, Jake, how was your Saturday?
Oh, it was good. My Saturday was good. A lot of relaxing, and just kind of taking it easy. Looking forward to this. I'm heading back to college on Monday to start my spring semester. And, we take it one day at a time. And I'm just, but so far, kind of going back to today, everything's going good.
That's how we like to hear it over here. And, hopefully we're starting your new year in college or semester by this point. Question, what are you studying in college? If you feel comfortable.
So I'm studying, of course. Yeah. I'm studying music is my major. Go to the University of New Haven up in Connecticut. Right now I'm just in general music. I hope to get into more music industry, music and sound recording, kind of as my years go on. I'm a freshman there. And I'm excited for this semester, particularly because I'll be dabbling more into music classes. I know during the fall semester, I was just in a general music class, kind of music and global cultures was the name of the class. And it was really talking about different cultures and kind of how music can spread to different cultures and kind of how music can interact with their cultures specifically. We also talked about in that class kind of more Eastern music, Middle Eastern, all the way kind of to India, we even talked about some music from Greece and
Mediterranean, if you will.
Mediterranean, yeah, that area over there. We talked about, and we kind of talked about how those kinds of music can kind of lead or be influenced by the Western world of music, which is the U.S. or any parts of Europe.
I find it ironic, though historically, right, that I think the guitar and all those things can track its history to like the string instruments. Wait, it is a stringed instrument.
Well, yes.
I think it originated in Greece, right? The lute and all those things from that Mediterranean area, and probably from Asia.
Started from the lute, yeah, and it kind of transposed into this, 6-string instrument that people love to play. I know some guitar. I'm mainly a drummer. That's my huge hobby, but it's a hobby. Other hard work. I've been taking lessons for 10 years now. It was, it's been a journey. I always loved it, but as I kind of got more into the craft and more into the skill of playing and learning different rudiments, different songs, and just, I feel like for me personally, when I accomplish something, I feel more motivated, right? So when I learn a song front to back, and I'm, playing it, with very few mess ups, if not at all, or if any, that keeps me motivated to keep learning more and to keep learning more and just to have fun with it.
Something that I noticed, just as for the viewer and or listener, because we might have a video portion of this podcast, but it's going to go on YouTube and also our favorite podcast distribution services. Jake and I met at where I work right now at the coffee shop, but just for the listeners to remind you, I'm legally blind, and Jake also is legally blind, right, Jake?
So, correct. I am. Yeah, I've been blind since birth, actually.
Mm-hmm. And no, that hasn't stopped him to follow his passion. And I noticed that when I was working alongside him in the coffee shop over there, and the best things that we would normally spend time talking, and even Ed, my boss, would be talking. So you guys like talking about that, and we were just working on
Yes.
organizing stuff, boxes, whatsoever in storage. He'd be hearing. So Jake, what do you think about this kind of style and all those things? And sometimes even customers are like, oh yeah, I play the guitar too, like in a band. Like I think there was one time that a lawyer with Ed, I think in the register, and Jake serving them coffee.
Yes, I was. Yeah, I remember.
You were passing them the coffee, and
Coffee,
I think you directed towards Ed the conversation, or towards me, and and the lawyer's like, really nice, and it led to a whole. It's a beautiful thing, but obviously in a professional way. So
Definitely. No, yeah, I definitely.
But yeah, no, really, it was a beautiful thing, and that right now, like you said to the listeners, that you're in you're trying to follow your passion towards music production in university, and it's a beautiful thing. Just I'll probably share some snippets if you're comfortable, Jake, of you just playing the guitar when we were doing the test recordings and all those things. It's not perfect, but it's just raw, straight from you just having fun. Obviously, I mean, I don't think they'll copyright us, but I'll put it in snippets. I'll put it interjecting.
Definitely,
talking.
Yeah. I actually think I was playing drums, not guitar though.
No, you were drumming. You were drumming it out.
Drumming, yeah, definitely. And it was totally okay. If I could actually plug my YouTube channel here, it's new and improved. I actually just
you told me during work that you had one years ago though, so it's live now.
Well, no, so I had one. It was always live, and nothing was ever up. But if it's okay to plug it, I'd love to get some subscribers and some more views. It's on YouTube. Channel is Jake the Drummer. That's Jake the Drummer. You guys can check that out.
I'll put it on the notes so that you can get some listeners or more viewers on it.
Awesome. Yeah, I got about 2 videos up right now. It's as of this recording, 2 videos up. So I'm gonna keep putting some stuff up there. So far everything's been recorded at my house. Little secret there. All my videos have been recorded at my house so far. I'm hoping to kind of expand and play up some videos of my band. Playing.
We didn't introduce that. You also, I think you've been in different kinds of bands, right?
Yes. So my band that I was in my band that I was in high school was called Chopped Liver, and we were together.
That's an awesome name, by the way. Chopped Liver.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What am I, Chopped Liver?
What am I, Chopped Liver? Yeah. That was another thing that we would be talking about at work when Marcos. I told him, my band's called Chopped Liver, and Marcos was like laughing hysterically, and then he's like, Jake,
logos, yeah.
He's like, Jake, I have this cool logo. It could be like, what am I, Chopped Liver? And I'm like someone like, something like that. Yeah. And I think one of the logos, the ideas was just about like someone there would be like an actual liver, and someone like cutting it in half. I think you.
I forget. Like we had different ideas, at least
once.
5 different ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, I know those are 2 of them, but yeah, we were together. Started like spring of junior year, and we basically changed a few members around, and we kind of took a break. End of the actual 2 days before I went to college, we had our a huge gig for us. It was the biggest gig I ever played. Not in terms of people, but in terms of the set. We actually played at a restaurant ourselves. Played for a good 2.5 hours, and we took a break in there, but it was great. We played almost like 30 songs, and it was wonderful.
Did you do covers or custom personal songs?
Oh no, these are all covers. All covers. We played anything from some Led Zeppelin. We played. We kind of shifted to more of the we played Led Zeppelin, kind of moving right along. We played some Police. We've played some 90s alternative and grunge music, from Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden, that whole
2
era.
hours.
Yeah, it was fun. Trying to we squeezed a couple Van Halen songs in there. What else did we do? I'm kind of blanking. But those are the main areas of songs that we covered. Definitely classic rock based. And we played some Sublime in there. What I got, great song to cover, just jam out to on stage. I feel like definitely that song. Everyone's got something, that guitar riff, that guitar riff. You got the drums, you got the vocalists can kind of put their own interpretation on that song just because it's so kind of free and open. It's cool. Yeah. So that was
your high school band now.
Yeah, my high school band. College.
Do you have a college one?
Not actually up at college. Yeah, I connected with some guys, and it just didn't really work out for a semester. I just think everyone was so new to it, to college in general, that the free time we had was either studying or just kind of getting familiar with college itself. So though I would have loved to play with the band up there at school, that hasn't happened yet, but I'm still hoping that day might come soon.
Are you still standing, or do you sit for your drums?
That's a good one. No, I'm still standing for hope, but no, I sit when I'm playing drums.
There you go. You know what I meant.
Yeah. Right. It's funny. It took me a second to just kind of realize, because like no one laughed, so I was like, oh wait, is this trying to be a joke? And I was like, oh wait, no, I get it. I'm still standing.
Yeah.
Are you still standing, or do you still are playing drums? I'm like, oh wait, it's supposed to be a humor thing going on there. But
don't worry. I'm not good at it, so don't you worry. Okay.
No, it was funny. Yeah, but I'm still standing.
And Alan, would you do you have any questions or anything you would like to ask Jake?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, it's awesome to hear it. The transgression. Sorry.
What? Your Honor? Your Honor? Am I being serious?
Apologies. No, but I do enjoy listening to I forgot the word again. But like I guess the way your transition from high school to college, and even though, like Marcos had mentioned it before, even though you're legally blind, it doesn't keep you from actually learning instruments, playing instruments, and trying to actively pursue now at university your pursuit of music. So I think that's admirable. That's awesome. And also, a personal question: since you do enjoy, I guess you could say classical rock is what you mentioned.
Yeah.
What like year or era is your particular favorite? And for your covers, do you play only like those classics like Beatles, Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, or is there something in particular that's near and dear to your heart, or that you just like love to like delve in and play with the group? Or do you do more, or would you attempt doing newer bands like say Arctic Monkeys or something like that?
I've dabbled around with both. You know, I've done some small things here and there with Arctic Monkeys, or new bands like that.
Okay.
But I feel like, I mean, it's good to be open with everything, but me personally, I like that old sound.
Okay.
I like those, wailing guitars and, all that stuff.
Okay.
Those great noises with the distortion on the guitars
Right.
and everything like that. But definitely the older stuff I like more. Still good to be open, but more specifically, you had asked what decade of music do I like covering the most?
Right.
That's probably I say the 90s. I love that Pearl Jam. Stone Temple Pilots is also one of my favorite bands. They're great. Nirvana, they're good too. I'm gonna take it back to the 80s. I do like a lot of that. Hair metal's pretty good. You have your Def Leppard, Motley Crue. I never really covered any of that, but I really like to listen to that music. It's good energy. Like Poison is another good band, for hair metal. What else? But going back to kind of your question though, but the 90s is definitely my favorite, or one of my favorite decades of music to cover.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, and since you mentioned it, hair metal, is that and excuse my ignorance because I'm kind of new to that type of genre of music. Was never something I listened to much, but
Right.
Hair metal, is that where the band would dress up in like really tight clothes and like have their hair done like really big?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I just know it's called that. I don't know too much on the history, but basically, yeah, that's basically what it is. It's all the bands that dress up, like you described, they have all their long hair and all that stuff, which is
Okay.
that's kind of how they kind of got the name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you mentioned it. I remember. I think it was the band Poison.
Yeah,
I'm not
Poison,
sure.
yeah.
I'm not sure where I heard that band from, but I distinctly someone had mentioned to me, and they said, "Oh yeah, they had big hair." And I probably was one of the chefs I used to work with that he really loves that type of those type of bands. Like he would listen to Queen, he would listen to all those other bands that you mentioned before. What was it? Van Halen, I think you mentioned.
Yeah.
And he would listen to a lot of like rock, like old school rock. And like you can hear him jamming inside his office with all this stuff. Like you hear the riffs, like you said, like people would like do the, and right? Because he would go to these concerts.
Right.
Back when he was younger, where they would do live the concerts live, and he would actually be able to attend. And I think for a while he was in Europe, so whenever the bands would be over there, like he would definitely go and record with, I think, the tape recorder, and I think he was able to like
a mixtape.
Yeah, but
really?
And what he would do would he would take those tapes.
Yep.
And then he would convert them into like CDs, and then from CDs, obviously to MP3s and stuff like that. So he has like certain, from what I was told, right, that he had certain pieces or riffs that were very unique to that time and place in that concert, where they would do like that standing ovation or encore, and they would do those like crazy like jam sessions that they would do, especially for that I guess that concert that they're doing, or for that group that's asking for an encore. And he would have like unique one of ones, right? that he would be able to listen to over and over and just relive that moment, that time, that place.
That's cool. Yeah, basically right. Like you're capturing the moment, which sometimes like
It's
that's
different
kind of
than the studio recording then.
right. No, definitely. But I'm saying like for me in general, that's the big idea that I kind of struggle with. It's like, okay, I'm at a concert. Do I just want to be in the moment, or do I want to actually record the moment for later? Listen, you know what I mean?
True.
That's for everyone, yes. Me being partially sighted, or I feel like even with Alan being
Right.
more sighted, and you or I to combine. Do you record that? May that be with a video recorder because there's a lot of social media now,
Yes.
or audio? May that be like mixtapes?
Audio, yeah.
Like that's I didn't think about that. Like you paid the ticket, you flew to Europe in this case with the chef. I mean,
Well, I didn't personally go.
No, but with your story, I'm referring.
Right. The chef would definitely listen to like all these recordings that he would have, right? And it would be awesome because like there'll be certain riffs that obviously even to an untrained ear, you listen to it and you're like, wow, that's talent right there. There was like an
Definitely.
emotion behind it, right?
No,
And
right.
it's very like emotionally charged type of music where again, it puts you in a time and a place. And again, not everyone is the same. Some people are more like sensitive to audio in the sense of like you can actually translate what you're listening to and it puts you in a mood, it puts you in a space, where other people are more, I guess, sensitive or learn a lot more visually. Others
Correct.
by storytelling.
Aroma.
Exactly. Yeah.
The aroma of food.
Exactly. So it kind of paints a picture and it paints a story and it puts you in a time and a place, right? So like I take that as a piece of like, wow, the chef actually went over there and he was able, I can imagine, right? Like cigarette smell in the air, like the whispers are talking between people or just people singing along to the lyrics of the actual song. Like I think it puts them in that headspace, right?
Yes.
No, definitely. Yeah.
And that's awesome. Like, cause music is like music being one of the many ways of like art forms that puts you in that time and place. I think it's awesome that he's able to relive and retell those things. Yeah, Marcos, go ahead. Sorry.
For communication wise, I feel like math and music, or the two M's, if you will, is one of the ways to communicate regardless of language.
That's true. Yeah. Like I would always tell people it's like I guess you can say an art form, right? Food is one of those, or culinary arts is one of the art forms that you're able to I think what would be the correct word? You're able to enjoy that art with all your five senses. Where
It's a sensory thing.
right,
Sensory.
Right.
So with food, you can taste the food, you can smell the food, you can look at the food, you can obviously record the food in your mind or even write down the ingredients,
The
right?
notes off the board, if you will.
Right, or take the picture or draw the painting or whatever the case is, right? And food has that particular way of using all your five sensories. And even if you don't have one or some are more heightened than others, you're still able to experience it in one way or another, right? Where it puts you in a time and place. Like I can tell you vividly, I think we were speaking about this in our last recording, our last episode with Kenichi, where it's
last year's.
Last year's
Last year's episode, yeah.
The funny thing is that, dude, I couldn't get over the fact when I was there with my brother in Japan that we go to the McDonald's and they don't give you ketchup.
No.
Oh yeah.
Like I go to the McDonald's and I'm trying to have breakfast, right? And of course you're in Japan, right? And you want to go to the McDonald's.
Right.
It wasn't because, we only wanted to go there, but it was just one of those little experiences that we wanted to have, like a Japanese McDonald's experience, right? And obviously I think hash browns are delicious. You want to go have a hash brown at McDonald's, whether you be in the States or somewhere abroad.
They're going to be different anyways because they have the probably
yes,
regional
of course. And you're just trying to have a hash brown with some ketchup, and it's like they don't give you
soy
ketchup
sauce for you.
No, that would have been nice. Some soy sauce or something. There was no sauce whatsoever. So now that's also due to the fact that I don't speak the language. but it's still very interesting that those experiences, you can relive them with, again, I can tell you off my memory, but also if I were to take the pictures and show you the pictures, or even the audio of the video that I recorded, right? You get a sense of where I'm coming from. And
right, yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think something to add too. Certain occasions, depending on where the food's being made, whether it's at a restaurant, it won't really work. But if you're cooking the food at home, let's say, you can record the food, like the sounds of the food being made. Whether it's the sizzling of the grill, someone
the heat of the grill itself.
yeah,
or even someone mashing up vegetables. Like you can hear the sounds of the kitchen.
Right, it becomes a symphony almost.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna say no. Yeah, I agree.
Plates dropping.
right.
No, not breaking. Not breaking.
Don't want that, but.
And it's funny that you mentioned Jake, because it's like you go to these places, and again, it could have been like a McDonald's, or it could have been some sort of like actual Japanese restaurant, or even a convenience store over there.
Yes,
it's like, they'll have like music playing in the back, and it's very nostalgic when you hear these type of things. You associate it with a time and a place, right? And it could have been like something as, I guess, mainstream as like Justin Bieber or Ariana Grande song, but because it was playing in Japan when you were going inside the convenience store to get,
like, I think I like J-Rock now.
It's like, and you listen to that, you're like, oh, they also listen to music, even though they probably might not understand the language, but it puts you in a time and a place. It puts you in a mood to either buy certain things or just casually walk in and say, hey, you know what? Let's buy a snack or whatever the case is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's also kind of what I just wondered too. To your point that you just brought up, is that would you guys listen to music and the lyrics, let's say, were in a language that you couldn't understand? Would that?
I do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I have in the past. I mean, I'm not big on it, my personal opinion, but I just kind of ask, people, do you still listen to music, based on the lyrics or in another language? I mean, because kind of like a side note, for one of my music class, for the music and global cultures class on the fall there, we had to read up on some article, but actually it was a podcast. We had to listen to and do a report on this podcast that was basically, there was all these there was like a famous lyricist and a famous composer. I don't remember their names, but they were pretty big, and they each won multiple awards for they've done outstanding works of music. But the debate was basically, for music, do you listen to the like what do you like about the music, the lyrics or the instrumental part? And that was the debate, and that's what we had to write up on. Personally, I'm more of a instrumental guy. I like all the different instruments. I mean, lyrics are good. There's some songs that I love, and the lyrics just don't make any sense. There's also some songs that the instrumentals sound good, but the lyrics, they're telling, the song is speaking to you. Like the song is telling you a story. Whether that's the life story about the vocalist or somebody in the band, or just life lessons. Like songs, lyrics can teach you things if you kind of put your mind to it that way. But also, on the other hand, there's some songs where lyrics just don't make any sense. So I just figured I would kind of add that. Oh
yeah, definitely. I've been there, Jake. I've been there. Like I've gone plenty of times to Mexico, and I've like gone to like a restaurant, or I've been around like say you're going on public transportation or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like going from point A to point B, whether it be a taxi or a bus or anything, and a lot of people like to blast music. And you're like, I'm in a Spanish speaking country, and I'm listening to people listen to others or songs that are in other languages, and when they are in Spanish, sometimes like to your point, the lyrics just don't make sense.
What did they say?
Or they don't exactly, or not even if they don't make sense. It kind of, the lyrics don't go with this uppity, happy type of beat, right? Or this like I'll give you an example. I remember going from the airport, going to the hometown that my family's from, and it's interesting that from the moment that you're off the airplane and you're going getting your stuff, you hear people listening to things like cumbias, right? Or you'll hear people listening to bachata. Or you hear
these are genres of music.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Not artists. These are genres.
Right. And like, again, there might be songs where the beat might be like really, really tasty. Like you're like, oh wow, that sounds awesome. And then you get close enough to listen to the lyrics, and it's a bunch of malarkey. Excuse my French.
An example I can give
go ahead.
An example here right now. A very popular artist is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, like the running joke is that if she has a boyfriend or another partner, she's gonna make a song out of them. You know what I mean?
I've heard that.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Obviously, she's gonna make a lot of money,
right?
But at the same time, I don't know if that's the intention or that's just her style of making song of her personal experience,
preference. Kind of.
There you go. Another example is like, I think I shared it with you.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Another one that I shared with you in at work back in the day, last year, was a band. I think a Spaniard band, European, and what speaking Spanish. They were talking about what was it? They were talking about going to the band was talking about a party in the hometown, making like those. What was the thing with the Inquisition that they were bothering locals, like what's the name of that the Europeans were doing back in the day with the Inquisition? They were doing they were
like killing people?
Yes, but not heathens. They were people that weren't towards the religion, that they were doing their own religion.
Excommunication?
No, they weren't even
really sure.
What's the word? There's a word.
Heretics?
There you go. Yeah, and they were saying like if the genre, the like 80s rock that they were singing in Europe,
right?
They were saying, and they were talking about an older story, like they would be dancing along the fire and everything, and if the church saw them, they would be considered heretics. Like the song was about a party, like an olden style party at their hometown, which went over above my head, but the rhythm and the beat, the 80s kind of rock, and it stuck to me, and I was like, what this makes no sense, but it became popular.
I mean, I feel like that kind of almost goes back to like my class I had to take, because that you're talking about that 80s rock sound, that sound, could have started somewhere. Let's just pick the US for an example, and that sound, just by getting popularity, and just by other people listening to it, that sound spreads all over the world, because once a genre gets popular in a different country, then who knows, then bands are going on tour over there, and then people in Europe, let's say, might take that sound and kind of incorporate it into their style of music.
And influence.
Influence, exactly. So genres can kind of influence on others.
Man, the world's a big place, but if band, that's why they do tours and all those things. So a kid like Jake, back in 07, he probably saw a concert or witnessed a concert. He's like, I want to play drums now, right? Young Jake.
I'm not that old. I was like
he was like what, 2 or 8. At 8 years old, he went to see a Pantera or listen to a Black Sabbath song.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I wish.
I want to be like them, Dad or Mom.
I want to be like them. But no, I mean, but there's really people that are like that. Like, even, I know it's kind of off topic, but even athletes, like, people look up to them as like role models. I don't have any specific example off the top of my head, but I know, kids look up to these musicians, directly as well. Like, I want to play guitar because of Jimi Hendrix, who was a famous guitarist, or I want to play drums like John Bonham, who's one of the world's best drummers. It still is. I mean, he died, but he still is like ranked one of the best drummers in the world. And yeah, I will say, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a specific drummer that I kind of take after, but many drummers, when I hear that certain sound, like, oh, I want to play that song. I really like that sound of drumming, or I like that style of drumming, from metal. You know what I mean? So there's I feel different styles and different drummers kind of influenced me to be like, oh, I want to play drums. But kind of going back to what I was talking about before, is that how I feel like the biggest thing for me was that feeling of accomplishment, right? So if I learn a song front to back and it sounds pretty close to the recording, I'm like, oh man, like this is like I really did it. Like I'm playing the same way and the same like style as one of my favorite drummers was.
Like, I did it,
right?
But yeah. What else? I feel like with that, that nice little conversation, the Jake, it'd be that should be a name like of your first album, the Jake, just a pure drum
the Jake, yeah.
Playlist.
That'd be kind of cool, just like
a perfume, cologne named the Jake.
Exactly, almost like that time,
but
where,
it's just just a playlist of drums.
Yeah, like I remember one time we were doing a run through of the equipment and things weren't working, as expected. So I took the phone downstairs while you were still on it. I started pounding away at the drums.
Yeah, we were talking, and then again, I'll put a little snippet here. It's just pure audio, obviously, dear listeners. Yeah, but it's just Jake over here, not me over here, just being like what's the name of our not CBS, like one of those radio NPR. And here
NPR, yes. You're like, here you have
Jake playing the Metallica playlist. And he was just going at it in the basement.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I liked it. Even if it's only going to be audio, dear listeners. So sit in and listen to your with good, with your favorite headphones or speaker system, whichever you use.
Yeah.
What else?
Yes? One more question for Jake. Do you prefer acoustic over the electric drums, or is there a preference that you have for certain scenarios?
Personally, I always acoustic over electric. It's more traditional. It's louder. Electric, I really haven't had too much experience with. You can, hook it up to a PA system and turn it up. It could probably even sound louder than an acoustic drum kit, because it's going directly into a PA system. But it's just a feeling of like actually playing drums. You know what I mean? Like I actually have to use energy to make the sound ring out, right? So I'm not saying you can't hit the drums hard on the electric kit, but the pads, they're not really drums. They're more like these pads, right? They're these circular pads that still look like drums, but they're a lot smaller in surface area that you can hit. And it's just, people love them. I'm not against them. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not against electric drums. I didn't have enough experience with them, to really be like, well, here's the real comparison. But my opinion, I like playing, the real acoustic drum kits.
There's something to be said, though.
It's more fun,
of miking up a classic drum set versus just plugging into the PA on both sides. The ease of user friendly versus
Right.
the miking up of an actual drum set, and then the actual natural drum sound from an original drum set versus an electric one that can
Exactly. No, yeah.
it's probably more flexible in the sense of modifying it in post in studios, but
Right.
then in concerts it's probably a different story.
I mean, it can be a different story, but that's why, it's cool. I mean, concerts, it's not supposed to sound like studio quality. I mean, some art, it's kind of, rephrase that. It depends on the artist. It can sound like studio quality, and that can be made. That can happen.
It's
But
not a science after all.
Right. A lot of the bands, they get up there and just have fun live. Some bands actually sound better live than in studio, just because their kind of natural ability to play together is, it is just
It shines through, if you will.
electric, basically. I mean, even I was at college in the fall, and we actually did a recording. We actually covered a Beatles song, and why I'm blanking on the name, I don't know. Oh, it was Strawberry Fields. We were covering that, and we played each part individually, and it was good. It was cool to be a part of the recording, but I feel like, let's say, for example, everyone came into the recording studio that day and they all knew their parts, and we did one big recording session. I feel like that has a more of a feeling of, wow, I'm actually playing with other musicians, versus it was like each week. This happened like 3 or 4 weeks in a row because there's 3 or 4 parts. We would have to record each part individually, which, I mean, that's how the bands do it themselves. But I feel like, me personally, it's more fun playing together versus I was playing drums by myself in a room, listening to the track while it was being recorded. It was cool, but that was almost like, wow, this reminds me of being in my basement. I'm not really playing with other musicians. So it's kind of like, that's kind of my take on it. I like playing with other people, simultaneously.
You love the interaction, if you will.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, like I can imagine you like in on stage, just like probably nervous with the jitters, but then you get in that zone of what you've practiced with your friends and your bandmates, and just in the thick of it, just pop.
Right, it's like you feed off the other person's energy,
or even the crowd.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, no, definitely. Like the crowd, really keeps me going. Especially keeps me going, keeps the band going. It's just great. After you play a really great cover song that you practice and it's hard, and even if it's like a fun song, people just get up and start jumping around and kind of clapping your hands, together, with me as the drummer. That really feels cool. Like I remember there was one time we were doing a Battle of the Bands concert up my still in high school, and there was a certain section of the song we're actually playing High and Dry by Radiohead. Do you guys know Radiohead?
I've heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard them too.
Radiohead. They have some cool stuff, and there's a certain section of the song High and Dry where the drums kind of cut out, but you got a few hi-hat patterns that just kind of play while the guitarist and vocalist just kind of doing their thing. And while I was kind of keeping a steady pulse on the hi-hat, the crowd was just clapping along with me. I'm like, this is cool. Like I just one point when they were doing it, and I actually heard their applause. They're clapping louder than my hi-hat. Like that's kind of
that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It was really cool.
And they inspire you to keep going.
Yeah.
Basically, like, oh, thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. The crowd plays a big role when
Question: would you
performing.
guys consider a band like a concert, like theater, in that sense?
What do you mean, like an orchestra?
Like, what do you mean by that? No, like in the sense that you have you're on the stage,
Right.
and you're performing towards the public.
Yes,
And again, the same thing, theater. You're on a stage performing towards the public.
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
The concert feeds off the emotions that the concert goers give to the band when they're in the middle of playing, versus in theater, a lot of them stay. That's the difference in that sense, that they stay quiet and silent, observe the energy that the actors are giving towards the crowd. And stage
Definitely.
Concerts are more can be or have been more what's the word, self-feeding, creating a much different experience versus recording on studios. Some people, like I'm very I want to say I'm very ignorant in this, all those details, but I normally hear the original studio recordings, and I was like, okay, so this is what they meant to do, but I didn't think about the artist side, the creator, if you will, of how they feel when they're performing it with a live feedback, or with a crowd in front of them, versus having them recording in different pieces on a studio, which can be great, but could probably be a little bit out of rhythm or cold. I don't know which would be the better word. Does it feel too not synthetic, too procedural? Do you feel like I'm asking you, Jake, sorry about that. Do you feel like it's too methodical and you prefer the improvisation of a concert, or is there what's your feelings about that?
So, are you asking me like in terms of recording or playing live?
Your personal emotion or feelings of playing live versus recording snippets like in a studio.
I would say, I really don't have a perfect answer, just because I've played live many more times than I've actually had the chance to record. So it's not really a fair. Like, it's not like I recorded. It's not like I played in concert 4 times and recorded 4 times. It's more of probably like a 15 to 2 ratio.
And that's okay. Like with that experience under your belt, what's your feelings? There's no right answer, but you feel like you want to be giving it a fair shake to both of them to be as even as possible.
Right.
With your current experience level, what does it make you feel?
This podcast holds nothing sacred. This is Life Tech and Sundry, LTS for short. And what is Sundry? It's our experiences put in a melting pot to the internet. Join Alan, Marcos, and Josue, the hosts of LTS. We live in an ever-changing and exciting world. So join us on this wild ride called the LTS Podcast. Follow us at LT Sundry on Twitter, LTS.pod on Instagram, Life Tech and Sundry on YouTube, and all your favorite podcast distribution services. Stay frosty.
I feel like, personally, playing live and improvising, good, because when you're playing live, it's in a good way. It's so overstimulating because you have the crowd. For me, it's most likely a different drum kit setup than I have at my house. I'm still learning where different drums are. So as I've gotten older and learned how to adapt to every drum kit differently and every musical setting differently, every venue differently, I know my parts a lot better. I don't mess up as much because I'm more comfortable. Okay, let's say that this drum kit has less drums than I have at my house. I'm gonna adapt the groove to basically to have more snare and hi-hat work, less moving around the kit because there's nowhere really to go. But I feel like when I was first starting out, I was improvising a little too much. If I kind of messed up, I kind of play something a little wrong, and it wouldn't sound the best. But I feel like improvisation is really important because let's say I messed up and stopped. Like that's the worst thing you could do. Like you really can't stop. I mean, you shouldn't stop. I'll say it like that. Like you know, if you mess up a fill, you know, the biggest thing is, okay, I messed up. How do I get the song back on track? That's like, I mean, it's so simple. It's like, you know, if you, let's say you fall, right? It's about getting back up. You know what I mean? If you fail at something, it's about trying again. Right? So there's, you know, like in music, you know, if I do fill for, you know, an extra bar too long, I'm like, oh, you know, now I'm still working on that to this day. You know, I'm not perfect. You know, I'm not a math guy, right? You know, that's the biggest thing. You know, in drums, there's a lot of counting, you know, measuring, a lot of, you know, how many times you play these bars, right? You know, but I'm not really a math guy. I mean, I can do it to an extent, but a lot of it I just do by ear. So if I play some rule too long,
I've witnessed you do that, yeah.
If I play something a little too long, a section too long, it's about, okay, realizing that I messed up a little bit. Yeah, getting the song back on track is very, you know, really important.
Yeah.
And I mean, also, if I could add one more thing, I played a show once, and it wasn't my personal band. It was more for like a School of Rock event. For viewers or listeners who might not know what School of Rock is, it's an organization. It's a company. They are nationwide in the U.S., but I don't know about worldwide. I'll have to do some research on that. But they basically they teach, you know, they teach kids how to play, you know, music, but not just by lessons. I mean, you can just have lessons, but what makes them different than other music schools is they say, okay, here's your 45-minute lesson, 1 day a week. Then you also have a 3-hour band rehearsal with other members in that specific show that you signed up for. So it'd be like a police show, a Metallica show, a Fleetwood Mac show. You know, so each band or different genre of music would have their own program that you would learn the songs to. I mean, you know, as close to recording as possible. I mean, like very close. I mean, because, you know, their whole thing was, you know, keep the song original. Now, I don't know if that was like a whole contracting thing or, you know, I don't know all of like the legal stuff, but I know their biggest policy was, you know, songs must be learned, you know, to the recording as possible. You know, really have like little to no improvisation. You know, you want the recording to be as close to the original recording, studio recording as possible. And it's kind of when I first started going to that school, and one of the show directors was like, you know, he just kind of flat out said, like, you know, Jake's ability to improvise, you know, because it was a certain program where the songs were not easy. I think it was actually a 90s alternative grunge show. And he said, you know, Jake's ability to improvise is just wonderful. I mean, that's kind of all he said. I mean, you know, because kind of what my point was before, you know, I may have been a little nervous. You know, I may have not done, you know, a few fills or, you know, small things. You know, I may not have played those 100% correctly, but it's how I kind of figured it out.
You get to the end goal
in the moment. Yeah, it's all about being in the moment. You know, you have to focus on what you're playing. You know, you mess up. You know, don't. You know, it's annoying, but you can't kind of dwell on it. You have to move on because you have more songs to play.
Yeah. Okay. So in your, like, you've had experience of saying going with studio, being methodical, if you will, but with your own personal life experience, you've been able to improv but still make it to the end goal, if you will. And then
right, yeah. I mean, again, like,
nobody's keeping you like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that in the concert floor. Like it gives you a more leeway to be as close to the song, but at the same time as improvisational as you need to be during a live concert.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I feel like, for me, improvisation is good to know how to do, but I feel like you shouldn't rely on it, right? So
Of course.
I always try my best to learn the songs accurately, and my lessons, on my own time. Take some time out of the day to practice and go over certain sections that I worked on with the band or my lesson. You want to use improvisation as little, as possible. But I feel like it's still good to know how to do, right? That way, if, worst case scenario, you're kind of your whole song is kind of falling off the rails, and you want to keep playing, so the audience doesn't, witness a complete train wreck. You know what I mean? Like, even just play for a few minutes after it happens. That way, the audience doesn't really realize.
That's some things that I never thought about. I never thought about that. Like, you got to clean some stuff up on the fly.
Oh, on the fly. Yeah, sometimes it could be anything. I mean, I know one time, a few times, I know one of my band members' guitars, something happened to it. I think the string snapped on in the middle of a song, and he had a backup guitar, but he couldn't really switch, during the song because he was also the vocalist. So, I was doing my own thing, but behind the kit, it wasn't as noticeable because we had our second guitarist kind of filling in for him, kind of playing both parts, of the guitars, because one guitar was down. And it's all about, fixing it, coming back. His guitar broke. He had to, fix it, on the fly. I mean,
that's some theater stuff right there, though. Those are the stories that you hear as a concert goer, versus being the concert giver, like the band.
Right.
You remember that time that the guitarist, his guitar string snapped?
Guitar string snapped, right. And even for me, several times, it's funny, I'm the drummer, so when this happened, I was not happy when this happened. This happened several times. So basically, there's the bass drum, there's a pedal that you push down, almost like a gas pedal in a car, right? You push it down, you push the pedal down, which makes this spring kind of attached to like a mallet, basically hit the drum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of the best way I can explain it. And basically, I was playing a few times, and that, playing drums, it is science. I mean, I'm not a scientist either, but gravity and vibration, things really do move. So I've been playing a few times, and the drum set is actually moving away from me. Like it's actually
you're kicking it. You're pushing you're pushing it away with the mallet.
Yeah, like I'm pushing it away. Like I'm playing, and it's really something that you would think would only happen in the movie. Like, I mean, plus I'm blind, so I can't see it. I can feel it moving. But as someone in the audience, you gotta be like, oh my god, it's a moving drum. Like, how is it moving? Is it meant to be moving? And it's like, it's uncomfortable for me because I'm still trying to play. Meanwhile, my leg is completely stretched out, so that's already uncomfortable. Like, I'm trying to operate my foot hitting this pedal while my leg is fully extended. I'm like, well, this is not. I'm like, well, I don't practice this at home, playing with my leg stretched out. So there's things on the fly that happen that you can't control. But
imagine the crowd witnessing that. Like you're in comfort, and the crowd's like, is this part of the show? What? Like,
it's part of the show. Like it's part of the show. Well, meanwhile, I'm just about ready to just throw my sticks and get up. But I didn't. I didn't. I never did that. I just kept going. There were some few parts of the song where I would stand up quickly and pull the drum back. All my strength is pull that drum back so I could at least finish the song.
Just let me finish, drum. Don't run away.
Yeah, let me finish, drum. Dude, just don't run away on me. But yeah, it's looking back on it. It's funny, but things happen. It is theater, like you were saying. It's an act, right?
I mean, as a crowd, I'm not as the people that are on stage.
Right.
It must be stressful, but as a person as a viewer, as a person witnessing,
audience member,
audience member.
Exactly, like seeing this drummer stand up and pull the drum back. Is this part of the show? They that's kind of a question that sometimes they just never will know the answer to. I knew as the performer it wasn't part of the show, but the audience member is like, that's their question. That's their
memory to take with them.
Their memory, the moving drum.
Remember that time when the drum ran away?
Remember that time when the drum ran away? Was that part of the show? I guess I'll never know. You know what I mean? So there's kind of things like that. What
do you think, Alan? Like, have you heard it? Like, have you witnessed like that drums? Their beats are strong, but they just start running away or jumping away.
The drums, science.
I've kind of seen that happen before, but I think what a lot of drummers do, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I see them put like some sort of like rug, like an area rug.
Yes.
And so I think that's to help with the vibration of the actual set or the kit, and it also helps with I guess maybe audio clarity. I'm not sure if that helps with it, but I do see them use the area mats in order for them or for the drum set not to move much. But again, that's what I've seen.
Right, and it's funny. It's funny that you brought that up. So all these times that the drum kit moved on me, and these are all events that young musicians like me were setting up. We don't know everything, so it wasn't like there were these professional guys coming to set up. Like what kid would be like, oh, this drum can move, let's put a mat on it. You know what I mean?
Right,
so obviously,
right.
I realized that, and I fixed it. I every concert I would go to, I would make sure that there's a drum mat there. Even my past gig in New Jersey, it was an electric set, and the electric set was moving on me because there was no drum mat. It was like a.
It was
wow.
It was alive.
It was like that slippery linoleum, like tiley floor that almost like a same kind of floor that reminds me of like your cafeteria floor, gym floor.
Yeah.
Like, it's very slippery, right? And there's no mat there to hold it.
Before the concert, there was someone with the machine buffing the floor.
Oh yeah, like one of those like what do you call those, like polishing machines, like the scrubber things.
Yes.
Like, I guess I think it like sprays water on the floor and it cleans it really. It's like super smooth. Like
I don't know the full thing, but yeah, like a super smooth. Like, sir, that's dang it, and you're like, dang it.
Yeah,
it's basically all slippery for you.
All slippery for me in the drum. Yep.
The drum sees they're like, oh, it's my time to get to hopping.
Yep. Exactly.
And with that, do you have any more questions, Alan, for Jake?
As far as the music, no, not in that topic, but I do have, I guess, the list here I'm looking up, where I think number one is titled AI in Music, Creativity or Controversy.
Let me give would you give the disclaimer as well if possible?
I actually want to like run through them real quick, just read all the topics, and then
go ahead,
and then we'll choose the one we want to tackle on first. Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah.
All right, so the first one is titled AI in Music, Creativity or Controversy. Number two is Virginia Tech rocks STEM education with music powered wave physics, and then third one is music and productivity, the scientific sound of focus. And number four
It's just a roundup
is-
of last year
Yeah.
Okay.
of tech and science stuff.
Right. 2023's top tech and science headliners, a factual rundown. So yeah, those are the four on the list. I had sent some on the group text of other topics that are that I wanted to kind of like also maybe add to the list, but
I'll
didn't.
add them now. But yeah, like if anything, just let me know which one would you like. The CBS, the anime series.
Well, I was gonna just read through all of them just really quick.
Sure,
and then,
Go ahead. Yes.
All right. So the first one was McDonald's just quietly added a new burger to the menu. Is the first one.
Yes.
So what's it called? The next one, Isekai's most complicated new show. It's called Sasaki and Peep's 48-minute debut from ScreenRant.com. It's based on a Crunchyroll what's it called? Anime called what's it called? Sasaki and Peep's 48-minute debut episode contains so many tropes that it isn't a stretch to say it might be Crunchyroll's most complex isekai.
Okay.
So that's the other one. The next one is it's from sportskita.com, I believe, and it's an anime one as well. It's called Is Chained Soldier the Next High School DxD? ? And then explain. That's that one. And then next one is Science Alert. So from sciencealert.com, which is scientists discover an amazing practical use for leftover coffee grounds. Since I enjoy coffee and you guys, I imagine, also enjoy coffee.
I partake in a healthy dose of coffee.
I actually don't.
Yes. Really? Really?
Yeah, no, I
Are you more of a green tea guy
um,
or just water?
A tea in general? How about
I mean, I'm more of like a cold drink guy, you know, soda, water, seltzer, stuff like that.
Okay.
Don't worry, you'll grow. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
I do enjoy the Splendrift for carbonated drinks as
I actually
water.
never heard of that. What is that? Splendrift. What is that?
So basically, it's the alternative to the other, I guess, seltzer waters out there.
Okay.
Where they're I guess some people might call it a gimmick, where others might call it an actual, breath of fresh drink instead of air. So they use all natural ingredients like organic or not organic, but just simple ingredients: water, carbonation, and actual fruit juice, or actual fruit juice to add to the drink. So it's not like artificial flavoring and coloring. They actually put, like, if it says lemon sparkling water, it's actually lemon juice and sparkling water. It's very simple. No added sodium, no added sugars, and no artificial flavors or some other preservatives that you might find in other drinks that are of similar kind. So that's something I really enjoy, and it tastes really good. I think a very popular, one of their more popular flavors is like the grapefruit, and I really enjoy that one. I also enjoy the lemon lime one. Those are really tasty. And I still do go and grab like a bubbly or an AHA. Marcos might grab a Polar or something like that, but
Yes, sir. Or a Hal's soda.
Right.
Yeah. Al's, yep.
Hal's is dope. Yeah. So, but like if I'm going to grab like a carbonated drink now, I usually go and grab one of those, like a Spindrift. Yeah.
So you like drifting a lot, like
Well, the thing is
Spinning and drifting.
Right. I didn't know why it's called Spindrift or what it means. So my brother was looking it up, and it's basically that I guess you can say that vapor or that water vapor that comes off a wave when it actually crashes against the shore. You see like that water that that little spray of water. That's what Spindrift is basically.
Oh.
That was interesting to me. I thought that was pretty dope.
Me too, yeah. That's cool. I mean, it's it's about like drinks, and it has something to do with like the ocean. It's
A
pretty
force
cool.
of nature, if you will.
Yeah. And then the other one, one of the other ones is another McDonald's one. It's from New York Post, NewYorkPost.com. It's titled "These states pay the highest prices for McDonald's, plus which state gets the best deals."
Oh,
So that's another one. And then the other one is from DailyHive.com, and the title is "Better Than the Churro Was. Costco's giant new 750 calorie chocolate chip cookie is going viral."
700. What the heck?
Like the
750 calories. That's a lot. Yeah.
There's a picture where there's this influencer, I guess, or just some girl.
Content creator. How about that?
Right. And she's holding the cookie right next to her head. It's basically the size of her face. It's pretty big.
Or is her face small? Oh, okay, no, her face
Well,
is big.
I have no idea. I have no other way of measuring.
She tried to use her face as a reference for the cookie, or the cookie as a reference of her face.
Basically,
You decide.
the latter. So Samsung.com has the title is Galaxy Watch 6. So
I lost myself in the 3. Like, it's been a while. That's how out I've been from the watches.
right. So I don't know. I think that's the newest iteration for the Galaxy Watch. So I do find it interesting. I do want to know what new health features and all the other bells and whistles it offers. So that might be something we can touch upon,
Yes,
maybe.
please. Yes.
The next one is CBR.com. And the title is One Piece Star confirms an iconic character will finally appear in season 2 of that Netflix live action.
Yeah.
And then the next one is, or the last one is,
You have a science alert one too.
do I have a science?
Scientists discover an amazing practical use for leftover coffee.
Yeah, I already said that one.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. But the last one is from Yahoo Finance, and the title is Otani. So, for the people that actually like sports and or follow sports, in particular baseball. So, San Diego had purchased or put under contract or has under contract a Japanese baseball player.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So his name is Otani, and Shohei Otani. And the title here is Otani could avoid paying millions in California taxes. So basically, he on the off season he signed off on his contract, which is a value of $700 million, and he's basically or most likely going to be able to defer $685 million worth of that $700 million.
How is he gonna dodge Uncle Sam with that?
I have not Uncle Sam per
How's he
se,
gonna dodge Uncle Sam?
more like
That's funny.
more like Uncle Newsom and California.
You mean step uncle? Wait, hold up. No, continue.
Right. So basically, people are also asking how they can probably do the same thing, and there's other people up in arms saying, why is he able to do that, and they should change the rules or the laws in order for him to pay.
They want an artist to pay? Come on, he's so good they're paying him to play ball. Come on.
Yeah, so that's a big situation there. So yeah, those are the ones I kind of like had in mind. But again, from the ones that we already read, all mixed together, is there anything that kind of jumps at you that you kind of want to like talk about real quick?
Personally, I want to hear about this person dodging taxes. I don't know. It's just me. Like, is he blogging these? Can I hear a story?
Well, he wouldn't be able to.
Can I copy these?
He would probably explain it to you in Japanese.
Don't worry, I can get a caption,
translator, right?
Or a caption. You know, just record the video and post it in caption, and YouTube will translate.
Yes.
That's cool.
That sounds like a great idea.
So wait, so how does that work again? So you can take any video that's in a different language, and so you re-upload it to YouTube, and it'll translate it for you.
No.
That
YouTube has
Closed caption, right?
closed caption,
And it
Okay.
auto translates.
auto translate with the text subtitles, if you will,
okay,
in the bottom. And that, obviously, it's not perfect, but it's something,
Right.
You know.
yeah,
And then nowadays, even Spotify is trying to get into that, like translating the actual flaps of your mouth into whatever desired language you want to. But it's
that's
still
cool.
And is there a date of when it's going to be coming out, or is it just a promo that we've been hearing about that?
Well, I've been using it. Like, I haven't uploaded anything, but like I've seen older videos where you're able to go on the settings and you're able to hit the auto translate, and it gives you a drop down box where
On Spotify?
no on YouTube,
Okay.
where you're able to for closed captions.
Oh,
You're-
yeah.
You're able to auto translate to like French, English, Spanish, German, and other languages. So again, it's not perfect, but it's something. If you really wanted to understand what the person's saying, and yeah, I mean, I'm really hyped for the Spotify one, because apparently, it's actual audio. It's not just like closed captions.
It tries to intonate. What's the word? Grab your speech patterns, grab your tone,
Right.
and put it in español. Imagine I'm talking to you right now, Jackie. De la nada empiezo a cambiar el idioma en español,
Right.
and then back to English like it's nobody's business, you know.
That's
Imagine-
cool. So
Imagine the other thing just changes it into Spanish and keeps the other thing in Spanish, and then continues in Spanish. Like, what did he say? He just said Spanish in Spanish.
Right.
That's cool though. So basically, from what I'm kind of getting at what it does is it takes your actual like lip movement and it knows what you're saying and it kind of translates it.
Spotify is like a mainly. Recently, it's been trying to get into video. For
Right.
me, since I've been observing it.
Okay.
But it's been doing it a lot more in audio form. So
Okay.
it's capture. You don't have to worry about I'm talking about the lip. I don't know if you hear me talking, and little bits. You can just a little bit at a time. You can hear my my mouth being wet or the lip smacking sounds. It's trying to get it into the same. What's the word? Rhythm. Copy that
Okay.
like. Joe Rogan, he like his lip smacks like on the microphone, and since it's just gonna be on the microphone, they're not gonna be looking at our mouth, so they're
That's cool.
referencing all that data to live traducirlo a otro idioma, ya sea a español como te estoy hablando ahorita, or just bring it back to English from another language.
Okay.
Right.
Nice.
That's gonna be interesting though. Imagine us
Yeah.
listening to some French food or Italian podcast that they're talking about food or their pizzas. You know, them
Exactly.
dissing the New York style pizza in French. I'm like, what? No.
I know it's like French or Italian, so you need that to at least get a gist of what they're
No,
saying.
but with AI, it'll be hopefully, and obviously it's not going to be right off the bat, but hopefully it'll be seamless. You just press translate, and obviously you have your preferred in your settings on your phone, and translate to English, and it'll be them like saying ho 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 le baguette. No, look at this nice piece of bread, you know.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I feel like AI is just coming up so much more in everyday life. Like AI, really, it's hard to explain, but it's like it's growing so rapidly. Like I don't even know how much stuff AI does, and I only started hearing of AI like 2 years ago.
Well, want to know something? I got some stories for you.
What?
What?
Please tell us.
So let's go with
Tell us.
number one. AI in music, creativity or controversy. Ohio University explores the use of AI in music creation, including the Beatles' AI-infused track Now
I heard about
and
this. I heard about this actually, and I actually, not to cut you off.
Then. Go ahead, no, go on. Yeah, I'm listening.
I heard. I don't remember the song off the top of my head. It's weird. I I remember certain things, and then the details. I'm not great on details. I'm sure it'll come back to me after or at some random time. But yeah, I did hear about that where they did. I believe they recorded the instrumentals, but they used bits and pieces of John Lennon's voice singing certain words, and they kind of pieced lyrics together that way.
Yes, they did. And then the other point that it says, I wasn't about to say ethical questions loom, like unauthorized artist voice use and content overload. First, personally, I don't think content overload just yet is a thing personally, but in the sense of asking permission for artists or just people with the thing with Spotify to be able to use your voice to promote their things. Hopefully there's going to be a whole contract between the people that their voices are being translated and an agreement, that everyone gets their bag. What's the word for it, Alan? I can't feel like I can't explain any like better than that. Like everyone gets a piece of the cake.
Like, in what sense? Like people are
being translated and being listened to. You and I being heard in Japan or in France, and we're also getting paid like because we posted on their platform, versus them, Spotify using our voice as an ad in Italy, in Japan.
You mean like AI royalties?
Voice. There you
royalties,
go.
maybe?
I didn't know the name. I didn't know the name. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, royalties from certain platforms that we would use. They'll get a cut of whatever the overall price is for the show that we're creating. So yes. I'm guessing it used to be, and I'm trying to remember. I think something we brought up a while back. I think we were speaking about Jimmy, about Mr. Beast.
Jimmy.
And yeah, so I remember it was something along the lines where he would pay, and I think it was around the time he came out with the Squid Games type of thing. Around that time, something came up about how he would spend a lot of money on, and then that's his MO, right? At this point, spending a lot of money. But in the case of like him being able to reach other markets, he would spend a good amount of money on the people that would translate the actual shows or videos. So what he would do is like the voice actor that does Spider-Man in Japan, he would pay him to, or he was looking for him and offering him, the big check in order for him to voice him in the Japanese version or the translation of Mr. Beast's videos.
Oh, okay.
So in that sense, he has the money to do that, where like say if we wanted a particular voice actor from a country that is very well known and has a following, we would have to spend oodles and oodles of cash in order for us to get that particular person. Where now we're going from auto translate, and maybe not the best translation to other languages of our show, but we potentially might be able to get our actual voice and likeness to a certain degree to actually be speaking a different language that has our quirks even in the way we say certain things, and also translate that into a different language. So that's how I guess powerful AI is getting towards, right? And
where it's aiming to be,
right, what it's aiming to be. And obviously all of this has its pluses and minuses, where they have to have some sort of checks and minuses where people are able to sign on or off. And obviously there might be ways to getting around it. But I'm pretty sure that lawyers are trying to figure out ways now.
They're getting their bag now.
Yeah, to try to get on top of that in order for them, in order for their clients not to be exposed to the craziness of like deep fakes and stuff. And we already spoke about this as well in past episodes.
Jake, was I think I shared it to Mr. J and Alan that there's a lot of different YouTube videos that are making their being known for them promoting them doing deepfakes. Obviously, not the sole thing of doing a deepfake. For example, there's a YouTube video of President Trump, former President Trump, Obama, and the current President Biden talking about their favorite anime, and specifically One Piece, and they're like AI. Obviously, we know it's uncanny and fake, but just getting their tone and the pictures and just doing it in that way, it was like, and this was not smooth, not clean,
right?
But it was funny because it was done in a sense of parody. Now, the intent was shown, the ability it's able to be done just by one person and giving it oodles and oodles of time. Now, imagine being a company that there's money behind it. Thus the lawyer situation that I didn't think about. But now, Alan,
that's funny. I was laughing a second ago because on Instagram I saw a reel, actually several reels, where it's the three of them, former presidents, Obama and Trump and Biden. Now they were at the McDonald's. They were at the McDonald's drive-thru. It was funny. I don't know where you can find it, but it was funny. It was the older voices like hey Donald, what do you want? Or it was funny.
There you go. See, they're proving that they can do it. It can be done.
Yeah, it was cool.
And with that one,
I need them to be at a Denny's or something, or like a Waffle House.
It was
breathe, Jake, breathe.
It was the drive-thru at McDonald's.
That's crazy. I need them to do that.
What do you want? Hey, Donald, what do you want? Joe, I don't know.
Some nuggets,
funny. Yeah, it's nuggets.
Here we go for number 2. Ready for number 2, Jay?
Ready.
Virginia Tech rocks STEM education with music-powered wave physics. Using instruments and tech, Bradley Davis and Ivica Lee Bukvik's program engage high schoolers in wave physics, meaning that they're using music to bring them into science studies. And their goal is sparking interest in fields of and boosting in national defense workforce. What? Their goal is to basically bring more people into STEM, and may that be incentivizing them with a guitar or a drum set, if you will. And if again, there's a lot of scientists, like I've heard about, like NASA scientists being in a band or just being drummers, using it as a hobby, but they're so good at their hobby that they're also in bands, Like, but he works as a NASA engineer.
That's cool.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. That's insane. So basically, to kind of summarize that, because I'm not entirely sure what you kind of mean. So basically, it's NASA scientists trying to incorporate music sound waves. Is that what I'm getting out of it?
Yeah, let me give you the highlights. It says, let's see, where is it? Virginia Tech researchers are leveraging sound, music, and creative technologies to spark an interest in wave physics among secondary school students and recent high school graduates. Okay. Basically, for more than a year, Eaton has been bringing his classes to participate in building a workforce for wave physics programs that is a joint effort between Virginia Tech Schools of Performing Arts and the Virginia Tech National Security Institute. So the government, if you will, and arts are trying to collaborate.
Right.
and is hosted by the Institute of Creative Arts and Technologies. Now, there's an institute for that, apparently. It's a unique experience for them, Eaton said. Some of the students learn about wave physics at a little bit in their physics or earth science classes, but I think this program does kind of put meaning to the kind of stuff that doesn't seem to have meaning in the classroom. The program, which reaches hundreds of students each year, is led by Bradley Davis, Assistant Director of the Spectrum Dominance Division of the Virginia Tech National Security Institute, and Ivaka Iko Bukvik, a professor in the School of Performing Arts and the director of the ICAT, Creativity Innovation Initiative. So they're trying to mix in music, arts and science, arts and crafts into science, if you will.
Interesting.
And,
yeah, I mean, because they, what we talked about it before, on a very, very smaller scale, how, like drumming, that's science, right? That drum was running away on me. Why? Because of science, because of vibration, because of force.
It was feeling the beat.
Physics. Right. Exactly. So it's a very simplified version of that, but yeah, they're trying to kind of incorporate the arts, I guess, into science. That's pretty cool.
Some might even say good vibrations, huh?
The good vibes, everyone's vibing.
Yeah.
Feel it.
I knew you were going to do that.
Well, you set it up. I just had to continue with it.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Ooh,
Feel it in the air tonight.
Wait,
yeah.
Okay, now number 3. Music and productivity. The scientific sound of focus. I feel like everyone can in this one, Alan, Jake, myself, and you, dear listener or viewer, wherever you're listening, can relate of putting a good beat while you're in your workplace or studying even.
Definitely.
Ready? Studies and experts' opinions investigate the link between music and efficiency. No conclusive verdict, but potential mood and motivational boost suggests indirect productivity gains. Individual preferences and tasks complexity influence music's effectiveness. So personally, I remember when I was working with you, Jake, and trying to put you in the zone of working, I would tell you that I would have a song in my head, like running in my even though I don't play the music, I think about a song and then the work. Okay, get to work and then run the beat in my head.
Exactly.
And time would just fly. I think I told Alan one time that I was thinking about one of Selena's song or Celia Cruz in my head, and I was like, as my mantra. And by the time I was done with organizing stuff in storage, it was I think in the summer, and the AC was on, and I was putting off steam off my body, and I'm like, oh,
putting off steam off your body.
Yeah, because I was working continuous, not stopping, and I was just in my head, like getting in the zone with the song.
Yes.
And I go back to where Ed is, and like Marcos, what? You're steaming? Yeah, because I had a song.
I remember that. Marcos, you're steaming. Yeah.
And I was just like I was in the thick of it.
From 5 feet away from you, I could feel that steam. It's like
it was my energy, and I was working hard. But in my head, I was just thinking of a song.
That day. Yeah, I remember that.
And remember, I would always tell you, hydration check. Keep yourself hydrated.
Hydration check. Do you still go in there every morning and buy those 2 sports cap water bottles?
Like in total, at least before lunchtime, I'm sipping 40 ounces of water, no problem.
Nice.
How many ounces of water do you have?
They're the sports caps. They're like 20 ounce each.
Yeah. So you still do 2 of those every morning?
not every morning, but before lunchtime, they're gone.
Good for you. No, that's good. That's good. It's just funny how I remember I would go and buy one, and I'll be like, I know, here's Marcos's 2 sports cap, room temperature, and I got my cold one right out of the fridge, for hydration check.
And as long as you're drinking water, that's what I was always telling Ed. And Ed's like, but it makes me want to go to the bathroom. But you're hydrated.
Hydrate, exactly. Hydrate.
But yeah, what about you, Alan? Like, what do you think about music in the workplace? Good, bad, the good and the ugly. Good, bad, and ugly.
Well, do I have a story for you?
I'm listening.
In the many kitchens I've worked in before, there's always music. It really depends on who's working the shift with you. Usually from, not always, but for the most part, like from when you step inside the kitchen until you leave, usually there's someone blasting music, whether it be a radio, their phone, or something of the sort, right? And it just so happens that everybody has their taste in music, and it's kind of silly, right? So you'll go in the morning, maybe somebody's bumping to something like maybe I don't know, maybe country music or like a little Frank Sinatra or something, and then like as the day progresses, you might start listening to some, I don't know, house music or some I don't know what else. Some
Skrillex,
right? Some Skrillex or I don't know, some people might start doing bachata or some sort of Spanish music, right? Cumbias or banda, and then it'll switch up to maybe like they'll have some sort of like reggae music, R&B, or definitely some pop music or something of the sort. Yeah. Definitely rock music at some point. They'll be listening to whatever type of genre, but you'll listen to a lot of those things or a lot of different genres just in the span of like 8 hours, which is crazy, or 8 hours plus depending on how long your shift is. And it's been like that for the most part where I've been working in the kitchen.
Hey there, Marcos here. This marks the end of part 1 of this recording. Join us next week on the posting of part 2. Also, there's a video version of this podcast posted every Thursdays of the week. The podcast is posted on Tuesdays and the video on Thursdays, unless otherwise told. So, enjoy. From the bottom of my heart, Marcos and the LTS squad, signing out.